Hello everybody, my name is Man Muhammad, and today I made a game. Well, not today, actually, it took me longer, but it doesn't matter. The game in question, Riddle School, I remade it. I made it for the Scratch platform. And I'm going to be doing a developer commentary because I've always wanted to do one, but I never had a point because I never made a game, but now I did, so now I have a point to my life has meaning. Let's do this. So, before I start, I'm just going to give like a little backstory. So, it's been quarantine. Quarantine 2020 has been very boring. So I decided to teach myself to make a game. Not make a game, but more of like how to do Scratch. Because Scratch is a free online engine. It's a free online engine, and it is like a real engine, so you can make games. And even though it's mostly used for teaching kids how to code, you can make pretty good games. And I've seen stuff on it. And basically, one day I was like thinking, what if I made a Riddle School game? And I tried. I was just gonna take out the characters in the backgrounds and just use that, but it didn't look good, and then I scrapped it. And then a day later, I thought, wait a minute, why don't I make it? Like draw my own pictures. So I did it. So let's get into the game. And it is mobile friendly, but you might have to double click a few things because the arrows are like really thin. If I knew I was gonna make a video on the mobile, like on my phone, I would have made it much more thicker. And I butchered a lot of, not butchered, but I more of like took out a bunch of complicated things, because the coding is it's not too hard, it's just it's really tedious, because it's like when this spread is clicked, broadcast this. When you receive this, do this. Then broadcast this. When you receive that, and then yeah. And I did actually do a lot of things, like when you hover over your mouse on these things, it will show like a little gag. Credits. Original idea by Jonathan John Rowe. Remade. Made in Scratch by me, Mathead. Yeah, see? That's the credits, and then for the quit is a Riddle School gag, because if you play Riddle School, Phil either does nothing when you push the quit button, or just does something stupid. I watched John Chrome's developer commentary. I want to make this as faithful as the original. Also, the logo was entirely remade by me. And I think I did a pretty good job. It's very simple. But anyway, let's get to play. So, the one thing I'll say is that I don't like the colors. On computer, the skin tone for Phil and like Mr. Calm, they look fine. But I don't know why, but on mobile it looks very ugly. And I did change a few things. Like right there, when Phil slapped himself in the face, I changed it to him slapping himself into the face, because in the original game, he puts his head on, he slams his head down onto the desk, but I didn't have a desk, and I didn't want to draw a desk, because it was already hard enough to draw the backgrounds. And that's Mr. Calm. He's dumb. I don't know why Mr. Calm's text bubbles when he talks goes off to the side, but I guess it just does that. I made this within 5 days, which I thought it was gonna take a month. So anyway, one thing you're gonna see a lot is the use of Photoshop, or like clip art. That was done on a purpose. I thought that since Scratch is never known for like that much of like quality stuff, that I thought that doing that would just make it look funny. The background, I originally wanted the hallways to have more of like a background, but it was already hard enough to make the rooms and have, because Scratch has a weird way with how they paint bucket things, so it was, the hardest thing was like drawing the rooms. In the game there's an arrow pointing to Mr. Calm's room, but when you click on it, nothing happens. I thought that was a useless thing, so I didn't include it. And actually, this arrow right here was out to the last second. I decided to code it in after I've already did the rest of the game. All the lockers are the same except for this one, and they're all in the background except for the one next to Miss Coffee's. So when you click on it, you get the hall pass. Also, the hall pass and all the items are also clip art, but it might be hard to see. Also, another thing I did was that I used variables, but I didn't do like, if the variable works is like, if this is equal to 1, then show it, or like that. But the problem is I only did it to if it equals to 1. So if you double click that, then you won't then it won't work. It's not gonna work. You have to re-push the button. This is Miss Coffee's room. Originally, I was gonna have the picture because in the original game, there's a picture behind Fred and Phil's desk. But by the time I made the office, like not the office, but the costume, there'd be no room to put it, so I just put a window. And speaking of window, I just forgot to mention this. In Mr. Com's room, on one of the windows, one of the windows has like a hole type thing, and I wanted it to make it look like the window was cracked, but instead it comes off as a cloud. So yeah, each classmate here has something when you click on it, except for Miss Coffee. I forgot to add her dialogue. On Zach, I purposefully drew his head because all the other students' heads have it where I draw using the circle tool, but not him. And I probably would have, cause it kind of looks weird. And also, as you'll notice, the game is not like the textures aren't upgraded or anything. If anything, they're probably downgraded. All I was trying to do was make a simple part of the game, because I know that ever since Flash is gonna be destroyed by the end of 2020, and there's not really much you can do at school because most likely the teachers have already blocked Flash, and if they didn't block Flash, then they blocked every single website imaginable. So you're obviously gonna be bored in class, and what's to do in free time? Read a book? No, you want to play games, which is why so many people play Scratch games. And I decided to make this. Oh, I almost forgot. Feather duster. But yeah, it's gonna be hard to click it. Richie. I've grown to like his design, but before, when I first drew him, I didn't like him. So if you go to the game's files, just like see inside, I labeled only the students' names, but his name is labeled under Discount Richie. The poster you see right there, it's based off of a poster as well in the original Riddle School, but it was kind of different. In the original Riddle School, it says, "Isn't it weird? The school has 7 students but more than 150 lockers." But in the developer commentary, John Chrome said that was wrong because he said 7, but there's actually 8. So when I wanted to remake, I decided to cross out the 7. I was gonna cross it out and put an 8 next to it, but it didn't work, so I just drew over the 7 in a red marker, and I think it does a pretty good job. Let's just to tell you, I actually powerhoused through it. The first day of me making it, all I drew was Phil, Mr. Com, his classroom, and then a defunct main menu that didn't work. The second day, I finished the main menu to make it work perfectly. Finished the puzzle with Mr. Com. Then I drew the hallway. I drew 2 hallways, and then I drew on Miss Coffee's room. That was unfinished along with the students. The third day, I went crazy. I made the hallway with Richie. I made this hallway, and then I drew the boys' restroom. I made a girls' gag joke. Yeah, see, listen, everyone there, you'll be hearing screams, and that's just for me. I made the water fountain, which I really do like. Oh yeah, if you do it too many times, it breaks. So there you go. That I like. The boys' restroom was the last thing I made the day. I was originally gonna have dialogue for the things in here, but just like a lot of things, it's just a part of the background. There'd be no reason to write anything. On here, one thing is that if you wait a little while, he'll give you the dollar even when you're not inside. All you have to do is just have the variable. And yeah, that's basically it. And then here's Chubb. The original puzzle in the game was he asked for a cookie. Then you would go to the cafeteria. Then you would click the cookie machine only for it to be broken. So then you would trade the feather duster to the janitor. He'll give you $1, and then he'll just take the $1 instead. And while we're at the cafeteria, I'm just gonna say it's a lot deader than I was originally gonna draw. One thing that was in the Return to Riddle School fan game on Newgrounds, there was, because in Riddle School 1 there was a picture that just had a poorly drawn diagram, but in Return to Riddle School, instead of that, it was just the original picture. So I decided for mine, I was just gonna take that and put it there. I had to edit fill in the error out. I actually edited a lot of things out, and I think I did pretty good on editing it. But I kept Greg because I didn't know how I was gonna do that. And think about it now, I probably would have drawn at least a few things for more detail, like maybe the smiley face, because the smiley face made out of mustard that got Phil into detention. Also, I made a mistake. Right here, if you click on Greg, I thought he was really depressed, which is why which is why Phil says Greg is really depressed, but apparently he was just really tired and really hungry. So yeah, my bad. Also, I was gonna do I did actually cut out a lot of things. One thing I was gonna do is I was going to have just like in Riddle School 1, if you clicked on a certain part of if you clicked on the side of the vending machine, Phil will point out there's a broken toy, but I didn't do that. At the beginning of the game with the cutscene of Phil saying how he wants to get out, once you click play, there's going to be a thing that said John Pro presents, cross it out, John Crow presents, cross it out, Little Mad 1%. I didn't do that. There was I thought about giving Smiley hair. I didn't do that. I was gonna make the hallways look more detailed. I didn't do that. I was gonna have the box. I was gonna have something right here. Sorry, it's right here. Actually, I was gonna have the office inside and say box office, but I didn't do that. Also, I had to put the vote 5 posters right next to Mr. Calm's room, but I didn't do that instead because I forgot. So when I was making the office, I decided to put a vote 5 poster right here. Also, one thing you'll notice is that in the original game, there's a thing, it's inside a box, but it looks like a box office. So I thought to incorporate that literally by getting a PNG of a box. And I'm pretty sure besides that, that is the only time you'll see clip art in this game that's not an item. Okay, and I butchered the options you have a great extent because I didn't want to, because Scratch is really manual. If you want to do something, you can't just do it. You're not just going to expect the engine to just type a few things and then you're done. You have to literally code it by yourself. If you want to make a debugging thing, you have to make the debugging yourself. So, also, when you push standing or like any bad, instead of kicking you out, it'll just refresh. It'll just do the static effect and refresh. I did that because I didn't want to. I thought about how hard it was gonna be to just make him leave the room. So let's do Mr. Crackface. I forgot the principal. I think the real principal name in the first game was like Mr. Chesna or something, but I forgot it, so I called him Mr. Crackface. Jokes are always fun to go right in. This is the animation I did. I was going to make him more detailed, but at this point I just wanted to be done with it, so I didn't have the time to do it. So it's very bad. Also, I didn't know how Scratch animation was gonna work. Oh, and then now she kicks you out. Oh, that was really nice. Now get out. Also, one thing is that if you click too fast, that arrow is gonna stay with you. Also, one thing that separates mine from other fan games was the static effect. A lot of fan games on Scratch, the Riddle School fan games, they don't have a static effect when you click the arrow, so it's just go, go, go. So technically speaking, since Scratch is really manual and very buggy, you could easily break the Scratch program or the game just by simply spamming the arrow keys, causing things to break and stuff. So I think by adding the extra 0.02 seconds of the static effect before, it eliminates spamming. But not to say that you can't break the game. On like the moment I released the game, I got a message saying that Richie, that if you don't have the hall pass, Richie just follows you. And the key is very detailed. I did that on purpose because in the original game the key was really detailed. And then I think I've talked about everything. Also, that black thing right there, and I don't know how to make like things look really 3D, so I just reused that for all of them. Anyway, let's get out of here. This was the hardest thing I had to make. The whole background of like how because it's all in like a red, because it's all like it's most of like when you take a picture and then you're looking back on a memory and you use a certain filter. Scratch doesn't do that. So I had to figure out how like the original color. Like first I had to make the original color then I had to like joggle around the color settings to see how it would look if you put it in front of a filter. Also, you can obviously see how Scratch handles on the paint bucket tool, because even once you do paint bucket, if you try to draw on top of that paint bucket, it'll just fall down. One thing was that I was originally going to make all the black here white in the picture, but it looked creepy, so I didn't do it. Game over. Hope you enjoyed. Please click the green flag to try again. I think that's all I've covered in the game. I think. Also, you have to double click it technically, because for some reason the arrows don't show up. The words don't show up for some reason. I don't know why. And one thing was that since there's a thumbnail, the thumbnail usually works as in like, it'll show up, but the moment you push the green flag, it hides. So I'm able to hide the glitch a little, because you have to double click it. So I already had to click it once in order to get the thumbnail to look that way. And I think that's it. As of right now, I'm gonna do a little secret. I am in the process of making a Riddle School 2 ReSCRATCHED. I'm not gonna show you it, but I will show you. I mean, I'm not gonna show you like how it looks. I'm just gonna show you how it how like it's gonna look. Like as of right now, see right there, Riddle School 2 ReSCRATCHED. That was not. Sorry, I almost tripped. That was not on purpose. I didn't want to. I was going to entirely wait a few days after Riddle School, like until like it gets a little popular and start like reading comments. But the problem was that yesterday I may or may not have went and created a new project just to test out how Phil would look in Riddle School 2, and I accidentally had fun making the game. I accidentally had fun drawing Phil. I accidentally had fun making the background, and I accidentally had fun drawing the teacher. So now I think I'm making it. I don't know if this will actually be made, but if you see a Riddle School 2 ReScratched developer commentary, then you know that I made it. I will leave a link in the description to this video, and on the Scratch website, on notes and credits, I will leave a link to this video as well. But I will leave a link to the original project so you guys can play. I'm thinking that since I have 170 subscribers, maybe, just maybe, more people than 18, maybe more than 18 people will come and see the project. I'd like to thank Jonachrome for playing the game and inspiring me to learn how to code. He is the reason why I want to make games now. Before, it was just animation. But with him, it's now animation and coding. I don't know if I'm going to keep the coding things forever. But if I do, then I don't know, maybe I'll become the world-class game developer. I'll be like the next indie. I'll be making the new indie title of the year that everyone will freak out over and then forget about in a year, like Bendy and Cuphead. Anyway, please subscribe for more videos. Bye-bye.